I have a friend here. He has agreed to do an interview on the show tonight. This is Pat. How are you doing today, Pat?
I'm doing good, David. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So,
Glad to be here.
I appreciate you coming here. I'd like to welcome you. I'd like to welcome you from Maui back to you.
Great.
And
Great.
aloha.
Great. I'm glad to be here. I've been here for a while, and things are good. Let's talk.
Let's talk. So, who are you and what do you do, Pat?
My name is Patrick Foyle. I work with the Salvation Army homeless programs here in Maui County. We service the homeless community in several different ways. We've started just with a drop-in center where people met each day, and we've expanded that to an outreach program where we service people out in the field and an emergency night shelter as well.
So how did you arrive at the Salvation Army position?
Actually, I started here as a client, as a homeless client, back in 1999. And after being homeless for a certain amount of time, I found the Salvation Army, or they found me actually, out in the field, and brought me into their programs. And after volunteering there for a while, I figured, well, I can change this, I can change that, I can change this, and so on and so forth, and kind of supercharge their exit from homelessness back into society. So I moved from a client to a volunteer into a part-time employee, then a case manager. I moved up then to program manager, supervisor, and program director.
And this has always been at the Salvation Army building down there on Kamehameha Avenue?
Yep. That one place, my home.
Do you find your work challenging?
I do. I could expand this whole program of yours into an hour just talking about what exactly we do. We prioritize. The most important things are we find out what their immediate needs are, whether it be food, clothing, hygiene. Once we've established that, we take care of that, and we move on to more important things such as Department of Human Services assistance financially, or food stamps, and then into housing, and then into employment. And a lot of times we have to work with the Department of Immigration and Naturalization. We have to work through legal aid. We have to work through the mental health system. So it's all encompassing. It's challenging.
Sounds like it.
It is. It's not just feed me and go. I mean, there's a lot more to it. We go a little more in depth than that.
So do you have a short history of the Salvation Army?
I was amazed when I found out that I thought, when I came to the Salvation Army in 1999, that the Salvation Army homeless programs had been there since the early 90s. With a little history investigation, I've discovered that the Salvation Army has been on Maui and in Hawaii since 1895.
1895?
1895 on Maui. Curiously, it began in Wailuku. It's a funny story, but I won't go into all the details. But they were servicing some of the whalers and some of the indigents in Wailuku who would come to shore after months at sea with all this money. They would go into the bars and the taverns and the restaurants and the hotels. spend all their money and not have enough money for food. So they would come to the Salvation Army, which was above a saloon. 1895.
1895.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
quite.
I was wrong. It wasn't in the early 90s. It goes all the way back 100 years. That's amazing. I was surprised.
So what services do you offer?
The Salvation Army Maui County Corps offers a lot of services, not just the homeless programs. The homeless programs offers, again, the drop-in center, where we serve them a breakfast, a hot lunch. We have showers, we have telephones, we have a mail service, we have case management. We have the outreach program, which services clients in parts of the island where they can't get into the drop-in center 5 days a week. We have the emergency drop-in center now, which is relatively new, a year and a half now, where we sleep 80 clients in our dormitory. But also we have the youth programs, which is 70 to 80 youth that come into our programs 5-6 days a week. We also have family services, which offers the same programs that we offer in the homeless programs, but to people who are in housing, to people who are having difficulty paying their utilities, who have difficulty getting enough money for food and sustenance after they pay the rent, and that type of thing. So we've pretty much got everybody covered. I mean, it's not just the homeless. I mean, we've got a much larger program involved in Maui County than just the homeless.
Sounds interesting. I mean, there'd be a good interview there with the captain and a couple of the people that help.
We're trying to get him down here. He's a busy man right now.
I've been waiting for him.
He's a lot of things have happened since the Salvation Army a lot of times is like the military. And you come in, you do a tour of duty, and you move on to another assignment. In the last 3 or 4 Corps officers that we've had didn't really appreciate the needs that we have. I shouldn't say they don't appreciate it, but they weren't ready to make that step. The Corps officers that we have now, Captains Mark and Kathy Merritt, are more than willing to expand all our programs and to meet all the needs, of the clients, regardless of what it's going to cost the program logistically speaking. I've asked them to be on here. This is a busy time of year because of kettles, as you and I have talked about. Mm-hmm. So he probably won't be available until sometime in the spring.
I'm trying to get him before Thanksgiving. But it's a busy
that ain't
time.
Gonna happen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But he's expressed the desire to be on here, and he's so much more eloquent than I can be, and we'll get him on here. But he's got a much larger view of the Salvation Army Maui County than what I have, and he's more than willing to sit with you and share it, and let's count on that.
Well, if it's springtime, it's springtime,
Yeah, they can give him some rest.
Yeah.
After Thanksgiving and Christmas and the New Year's, we'll give him a little bit of rest. Then we'll bring him on.
Oh, we'll see him then. Do you have any upcoming events?
We do. We have Thanksgiving meal coming up on Thanksgiving Day, which is a fun event. We have lots of turkey for a lot of people. Not only are we going to serve the meal, but for the last couple of years, we keep them afterwards and we show 4 or 5 or 6 videos in the multipurpose room. Just give them a place to rest and relax after that big meal and watch videos and have a good time. On Christmas Day, we'll do the same thing. We'll have the meal on December 25th, and then we'll watch videos for the rest of the afternoon and This is going to be probably 100, 150 people, and we'll have a good time.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot more clients that we have, but that's as many as we can fit in our facility, so we'll have a good time.
Is there anything coming up for the youth?
The youth are unstoppable. They will join us and assist us in our Thanksgiving and Christmas programs, but their programs really is something that's intangible. I mean, it gives them a place to. There's so much trouble here on Maui with the youth that it gives them a place to escape to when they come to 45 West Kamehameha Avenue, and they do what they do there. There's a lot of study programs, there's a lot of extracurricular activities that they become involved in that keeps them off the streets. And they go back to their regular schooling programs in their family life, and they come back every single day, and they've got a lot of programs going on. I can't identify with any particular program that they have, but that's an ongoing thing also 7 days a week with the youth.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be part of that in a very, very small way. You know, if we can catch the youth now, you know, in their lifetime, then we resolve a lot of problems that may come up in the future. So it's a fun thing.
Ready to go forward.
And I can see it working. I can see it. I see them every single day from approximately 2 o'clock p.m. until sometimes 7 o'clock at night. I can see it working.
Awesome. So. What are your hours of operations in the days?
The days we're open from 8 o'clock a.m. until 12 o'clock noon. We have a breakfast going on, kind of a continental thing. We have hot showers. I think I explained this to you. We've got hot lunch going on at 11 o'clock, mail call, case management, telephones. We close down at 12 o'clock, and that gives our case managers an opportunity to get caught up with themselves, and we do a little bit of appointment-only meetings. Then we close down. We're shut down from 12 o'clock noon until 8 o'clock at night, which is when the beds programs begins. And from 8 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock the next morning, the beds program is in process, which is, I think I mentioned this also, which is 20 people, 20 male adults that we service 7 days a week.
20 male adults?
Yep.
That's quite a few males.
It is. Good program. And we fought for that program for 10 years. But once we got past the worry from district headquarters and territorial headquarters about liability issues and insurance problems, once we got past that, and we're going to increase that from, we've gone from 10 when we originally opened the emergency night shelter to 12 to 15 to 18 to 20, and now in the next year we're going to work from that 20 to 30 in smaller increments. So we're getting a large portion of the truly needy adult males that need a place to stay and rest, and most of them are working. So it gives them a place to rest and get ready for work the next day.
Right. Nothing like a good breakfast to start out the morning.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What are the basic needs for your operation?
Volunteers. There's always a need for volunteers. I made a couple of notes here, if you'll forgive me. Volunteers, skilled or unskilled. We need people to assist us in opening. We need people to assist us in closing at 12 o'clock. We need skilled laborers. We have plumbing problems that need to be addressed, electrical problems that need to be addressed, yard maintenance problems that need to be addressed, vehicle problems that need to be addressed. So skilled laborers, please come in. The backbone of the Salvation Army is the volunteers. It always has been and always will, for 100 years. It always will be.